Hey everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Welcome to your reading. Today's reading is called Visions of the Night, Their Thoughts and Feelings. We are going to go ahead and get into it today. We have three piles to choose from. Pile number 1 represented by the yellow tea light. Pile number 2 represented by the black tea light. And pile number 3 represented by the red tea light. So take a deep breath and think about what color you're feeling today. Are you feeling yellow, black, red? What's on your mind today? Okay, and there'll be timestamps in the description box below to go directly to your pile. And for those of you that would like a personal tarot reading from me, details are in the description box for how to book one with me. And also, if you're wanting a natal chart reading, details are in the description box below as well, if you'd like to book a natal chart reading with me. So we are going to go ahead and get into it, and let's begin. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the yellow tea light, and today's reading is called Visions of the Night, Their Thoughts and Feelings. Thank you for being here today, and we're going to go ahead and get right into your reading. Pile number 1, let's do it. Hope you're having a grand day. Hope you're feeling good, feeling inspired. Pile number 1. Let's go ahead and get into it. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me to the energy of pile number 1, who comes here with an open heart, seeking your guidance. Thank you for allowing me to be the medium in the channel between yourself and pile number 1. Alrighty, my darlings, let's go ahead and see. We're gonna do your oracle cards first, and then we'll get into the tarot, okay? We have quincunx and complexity. Interesting. Ooh, pile number 1, what is going on? We have the golden mirror, love bite, love bombing, one-sided relationship, narcissist, self-absorbed. What is going on? We have commitment, okay, and we have secrets and discoveries with the sun in Taurus, okay, and let's see what else we have. We have bliss, number 30 with Jupiter, okay? And this person may be into feet, or they may be into foot massage. They may really like your legs, pile number 1. But there is more, I think, to this connection than meets the eye, okay? And I feel like, you know, the more you learn about this person, or the more you get to know them, pile number 1, the more intense it gets, or the more like challenging it gets. And this person may be extremely good at like seducing, or extremely good at pretending that they are like so lucky to be with you, or humbled in your presence. And as far as talking about the complexity here with the quincunx is an aspect in astrology, which is an aspect of aversion. And sometimes the more we find out about someone, the less, you know, the less we really want to know, or the more we find out about someone, the more we find out that there's a lot of challenges there. Okay, and you know, this person with Jupiter here, okay, so they can really come off in the beginning. I feel like pile number 1 is being very like into someone, being very like sweet or humble or caring, or really you know, really like friendly, outgoing, all the attributes that Jupiter is also very generous. This person is like very coming at you like they want to serve you, or they want to take care of you sexually, or they want to you know, take care of your needs, is what I am getting here, okay? And wanting to impress you as well with Jupiter, wanting to make you feel like, you know, a queen on your throne, or a king on your throne. And The problem with this person, though, is the deeper you get into their web, or the deeper you get into this situation, the more challenging, or the more irritating, or the more complicated it is getting, okay? And we could have somebody here who is a total contradiction, who at one moment, pile number one, is like, you know, all about it, and all about you, and all about making you feel good, or making you feel wonderful. But some of you here with this commitment and secrets and discoveries, you may find out that this person actually is, you know, with someone else, or that they have somebody else in their life, that this person is like married and stepping out on their significant other. You may find out that there is a lot more to this situation that meets the eye. And with Jupiter, sometimes, especially here, when we have this paired up with this narcissistic kind of thing going on here, we could have the more negative side, where it's like, you know, somebody showering you with compliments and praises, and somebody who is representing to you like that they're going to be there for you, or that they want to, you know, that they want a commitment as well too, or they'd like a commitment. But I see this person, pile number one, pulling away from people that they make a commitment to. You know, I see them like getting deeper with someone, possibly showing their good side, you know, or showing their sweet side, pile number one, and then becoming more and more like distant. Or as soon as they get into a commitment with somebody, the more, you know, the more standoffish they become, the more like self-absorbed, and the more complicating the situation becomes, okay? And I do feel like somebody in this connection, pile number one, feels like they've been sacrificing too much for the other person, that there's been too many sacrifices that have had to have been made here. And the more that someone learns about a connection with this secrets and discoveries, the more like, you know, the more kind of like, it's like, what, you know? And hope, you know, usually when I feel like this person wants to discover like your secrets, and wants to discover you. You know, Jupiter is definitely a planet of discovery. And then we have this sun in Taurus, like very sensual. You can see the booty sticking out there underneath the covers, but this person wanting to discover, you know, like discover your body, or discover what is, like what makes you feel good, pile number one. But at the same time, I think that there is some issues with this connection. And you're probably like, issues, Natalie? Like there's a lot of issues here, or there's a lot of things. And I'm getting that there's things that possibly make you feel uncomfortable. Like at first, I feel like perhaps you were excited to get to know this person, or you thought that they were being quirky, or they're just different, or whatever. But I do feel like the more that you start to understand about this person, the more you understand their games, okay? Or you're starting to be wary of their games and the way that they act. And, you know, this person may try to turn it around on you and say, you're just being difficult here with this quincunx, or I didn't mean what I was saying, or you misread my intentions, or, you know, the connection was going a particular way, and then it totally went in a different direction, you know? And it's like this person got bored or something. I feel like pile number one, it's like once they get something, they may become bored with whatever it is, okay? And this person here does want to impress, I feel like, and act very like I think they put on a good act, pile number one. I feel like they're pretty good at acting really interested, or, you know, like saying that you're the one, or there's things that they would like to pursue with you. Perhaps someone here likes to read, or you guys talked about books, or you talked about, you know, some intellectual things where you discover, wow, you know, we have a lot in common or something. But pile number one, I just think a lot of it is smoke and mirrors, okay? And I do feel like that this person goes all in when they're trying to seduce someone or trying to get to know someone. And I feel like they can be very charming, but as soon as you get close to them, you find out that this person has a lot of psychological problems, you know, pile number one. So let's go ahead and see. Also, this person could be thinking that you're very self-absorbed, or that you're not, that like you're only concerned about what it is that what you want. Okay, some of them may be trying to turn the tables on you, pile number one, and accuse you of being self-absorbed or only into the things that, you know, that you're into, and not really flexible to what it is they're trying to give you, you know, which, yeah, you're like, all this person is giving me is a headache. And I can see why, pile number one, really, truly, I can see why. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And things that are done very quickly as well, too, often end up becoming very complicated very, very quickly, okay? But let's go ahead and see here. For my pile number ones, let's find out. Let's find out here. What is this person's thoughts and feelings to pile number one, please? What are their thoughts and feelings to pile number one? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have the 10 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, and, you know, the impossible weight of challenging situations. Now, pile number one, I feel like you can handle a lot. I feel like, you know, not a lot of things intimidate you. I feel like you're a person that's very, with this Sun in Taurus, like you're very connected to your sensuality. You very much want to believe in the dream that things could turn out correctly. I also feel like you've had your fair shares of ups and downs, but I also think you haven't really let anything get you down too much, which I like, pile number one. We can see that yellow tea light here, that spirit of, you know, buoyant optimism, especially with Jupiter here. Okay, even when things get hard. But also, I feel you're a person that even when things get hard, you stick it out, or you take it upon yourself to try to make it better, and almost like Superwoman or Superman or something like that, pile number one. But I also just think that, you know, this is very, there's something about this situation that becomes aggravating or even intimidating. And I don't feel like you're a person that easily gets intimidated, pile number one. Now, this person may be aggravated or intimidated by you, and therefore is putting up a false front, okay? We have here the Hierophant, we have the Hanged One, and we have Justice. Wow. So all three major arcana cards here. And so this person is very rigid with the Hierophant and very locked into the way that they see you. And I don't really think, and it's distorted, I feel like, pile number one, because the Hanged One in the tarot represents Neptune, and Neptune does tend to behave like a distorted mirror at times. And Neptune can definitely be like a love bombing type of an influence, okay? But this person dragging their feet on something, or this person not really intending to change anything about their life or anything about the way that they've been doing things. And honestly, this person, I feel like with justice, is debating on whether to say something to you that honestly, pile number one, is not very kind, you know? And I feel like this person, they have a way of, they have two sides to them for sure. And they have a way sometimes of saying the thing that will really upset somebody or really throw someone off balance, okay? And I feel like this person has black and white thinking and they think that they're always right all the time. I feel like they can be very delusional about their role in situations. And I feel like sometimes they will, like, they're there people, you know, oh, they're there, you know, or kind of pacify people with saying certain things, you know. But there is something very cruel, I feel like, about this person, pile number one. And I just feel that there is. And I feel like they're not very respectful of your time or your energy that you put into things. And I feel like this person is sucking a lot of mental energy out of your life, okay? And I feel some of you here are about ready. You've been on the fence, or you know that you've needed to make a decision or assert yourself on something here, okay? But I also feel like the Hanged One with justice makes decision making, it slows down decision making, or it makes decision making like rather foggy or kind of stuck in over analysis of back and forth, okay? And I don't think this person really has an appreciation for how their like lies and also rigidity of thinking has affected you. And this is a person who is comfortable with the world that they've created within their own head, and comfortable with their reality, you know? And if they feel that you don't understand them, or they feel that you don't understand why they are the way they are, you know? And I see this person being very self-absorbed, very self-protective. I also feel like this person lies. Pile number one, I feel like sometimes they have a habit of lying in order to get what they want, or they have a habit of lying in order to like pacify someone else, you know, when you tell a lie to someone to like make them feel better about the situation. And I feel like this person has the potential to fuck with people's heads because of that, okay? And I feel like, you know, this person is interesting because they act like they're extremely rational, or they act like whatever it is that they're doing is extremely rational, but it's not, you know. And this person could also be very socially charming as well. And you know, and I do see with the Hanged One here, like this person tending to distance themselves from someone if they're trying to like get too close to them, or trying to infiltrate their world too much. And I do feel like this person has a tendency to insulate themselves from criticism. They have a tendency to, I also feel like this person has a tendency to hold on to even the littlest things that are said, you know? So and constantly overthink them, and constantly trying to analyze like who's on their side versus who's not on their side, okay? And so this is like a very loaded situation, I feel, pile number one. And for some of you here, I feel like this this could be like a little game that's been going on between you and this person for a while, you know, where they show up, they distance themselves, they confuse you. They're very hard to, they make it seem like they may make it seem like you're very hard to understand, or they don't understand your decisions, or they think you're making decisions from a place of self-protection. But again, with the Hierophant, we see another reference to Taurus here, and we see two people, and then with Justice, we see Libra. Taurus, and even though they're both ruled by Venus, these two signs are in a quincunx to each other. They actually are. Taurus and Libra are in a quincunx to one another, astrologically. So basically the two signs are not understanding each other. They're not seeing eye to eye on something, or they're misinterpreting someone's intentions, okay? And so there's an awkwardness I feel here too. There could be an awkwardness in the conversations that you two are having, and there could be this energy of feeling fed up or feeling like missing the point, you know? And I feel like this person has like a whole thing sometimes where they try to be really dogmatic about what it is that they want or whatever, but then sometimes they just say fuck it and go with it. But truly at the heart of hearts, they're not willing to make a decision about a commitment. And for those of you where this is a third party situation, I do feel like this person is very hung up on making a decision, and I feel like their decision may be to do nothing. And that in and of itself is a decision, you know? Like sometimes we miss the boat on something because we just decide a decision to do nothing is also a decision, is what I would say. And for those of you that have been, you know, telling yourself about this situation, like, hey, I'll, you know, keep trying a little bit harder with the Ten of Wands. I'll keep going a little bit more. I'll see what else I can do here. I feel like it's kind of like making a decision to just continue to hold on, or to continue to press on with something is also, and making a decision to do nothing is also making a decision, okay? So I just want to make sure, and for those of you that have been hung up in indecision about this situation, thinking that this person, that there's something deeper within them, or there's some, I don't want to say there's no goodness in this person, pile number one, because I don't know this person, and maybe you feel like you don't really know them either. But like, you know, I also just want to say that I feel this person has some things about them that are very greedy. I also feel like they lie to themselves a lot, and, you know, I feel like their first priority is protecting the, you know, protecting the stability in their own life. And so anything that threatens that ultimately, I feel like this person is not really going to, I feel like they're not really going to change, is what I'm seeing here, okay? Pile number one, and I hate to be the one to kind of say that, but some people get stuck in various phases of their development, and, you know, thinking that the love of a good woman or a good man, or, you know, sometimes we think a person's stuck in a particular phase of development, and the good love, or the good, you know, good love of a good man or a good woman would help break them out of, you know, their self-imposed prison or something like that. But I just don't see it. This person has become comfortable in their lies, I feel like. Pile number one, okay? So I just want to, for those of you that have been, I see some of you here like working hard on yourselves physically, or wanting to get yourself into better health. so that you can make some clear decisions about things. Perhaps some of you have already made a decision about this, and you know that going back to it just brings a lot of darkness and heaviness, okay? And for those of you that are on, you know, a self-improvement journey, or you're trying to take better care of yourself physically, I just want to, you know, mind, it's like body, spirit, mind. The Hierophant, the body, the spirit, the hangman, and the mind is justice, right? And getting all of those working really in a positive way for you, pile number one, okay? So I'm going to get one last card here for pile number one as advice. Can I get one last card of advice here from Spirit to pile number one, please? Can I get one more card of advice? Okay. Perspective. A calm and clear mind is free to see differently. Yeah, that's exactly the Hanged One in Justice, for sure. And the reason we go into meditation in the Hangman, the reason we are upside down in the Hangman, is to see things from a new perspective. And Justice, of course, has the ability to make some really clear-cut decisions that like are very progressive and are very on point and very clear-headed. And I feel like what's needed in this situation is some distance, pile number one. So perhaps you need some distance from this person right now. Perhaps you and this person are not communicating, or there isn't a lot of communication happening here. But Spirit really encouraging you guys to take a new perspective, or to deepen your perspective. Because I feel like you guys already kind of know. Do you know what I'm saying, pile number one? I feel like you already know. But I also feel like Spirit's saying here to kind of deepen your perspective. And you see the fog around here too, which Neptune is very foggy. And we see the lighthouse in the distance. And we see the distance and the gulf and the divide between ourselves and the truth, you know? And I kind of feel like you guys have been staring into this person's shadow. I have to be honest, pile number one, or you're starting to see into their shadow, okay? And it's really interesting. I kind of feel on a spiritual level, you guys are going through a deep like cleansing, or you're going through a deeply emotional process right now where you feel changes happening to you on an internal level, both physically and emotionally. Okay, and the water is out there, right? And the lighthouse is there to kind of guide us as when we're, for seamen when they're lost at sea, or for people that are on the sea, right? When they're traveling by sea and you see the lighthouse, and it helps guide the boaters to shore, you know? So I kind of feel like you guys are taking a higher perspective these days, and I really see a lot of more emotional maturity happening here for you, pile number one, which is really good. No matter what age, we always have the opportunity to go deep within. And I don't know why I feel like I just got a note in my head from that song Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. You got a fast car, you got a ticket to take you anywhere out of here. We got to make a decision, etc., etc. Anyway, you can look up that song if you haven't seen it before. But pile number one, keep working on developing your internal perspective in situations, and keep clearing and calming your mind so that you're not experiencing any interferences in your decision making, okay? So that is what I am getting for you, my loves, in pile number one. I hope that was, you know, a lot, probably more than you bargained for coming to this reading, but, you know, I'm just I'm reading the energy, pile number 1, so there you go. Let's move on to pile number 2. Okay. Let's do it. Whoopsie. There we go. Runaway candle. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the black tea light, and today's reading is called Visions of the Night, Their Thoughts and Feelings. We're going to go ahead and get into the reading today, pile number 2. Okay, Spirit's giving me the name Paul, so maybe some of you have an uncle or a cousin or a dad or a friend or somebody with that name, or a name that starts with the P names. Okay. All right. I just heard that song, Pretend That We're Dead. There's an old song, When We Pretend That We're Dead. Anyway, pile number 2. My gothy people in pile number 2. Let's go ahead and see spirits, angels, and guides for my pile number 2s. Doing the freaky seances over there. Let's go ahead and see for this person, their thoughts and feelings. Oop, yep, there's the star card on the bottom of the deck, Visions of the Night. So let's go ahead and check it out. We're going to do your oracle first, okay? Pile number 2. We have Chiron and healing. Okay, awesome. That's awesome. Chiron can hit us sometimes right where we're most insecure, or sometimes can make us feel like we're not good enough, or make us feel like we're failing at something, or we're embarrassed or humiliated. Chiron can be a tough energy to deal with, but that's before we have a breakthrough. Okay, so we have healing here. Perhaps this person works in healing, or they do some type of physical therapy, or they do some type of perhaps this person is works in psychiatry, or works in sports medicine, or does some type of helping others to heal, because we have the healing powers of Chiron here. Let's see what else. We have not today, not dealing, hurt, avoiding a conversation or a call from a person, boundaries, and still angry. Pile number 2, did you do something to upset this person? What is going on? Let's see. We have drowning. Okay. Drowning in their feelers, I'm getting Cancer energy here too. Somebody may have that in their chart, okay? But feeling like they're drowning, or they can't catch a breath. It's like I can't hear it today. We have for better or worse. Interesting. Black Moon Lilith with Aries. For better or for worse. And we see here he's holding her in a very protective way. And I feel like for some of you, you may be dealing with a particular situation where you're feeling very depressed, you're feeling very down, or you're feeling very like taken advantage of by someone. And I actually see that he's defending her here. That even if she's not feeling well, or even if she's having a very hard day, you see that there's this person here standing up for you, pile number 2, okay? And perhaps some of you were sick or ill, or you've just been going through something, but I see somebody here who is wanting to come in and take care of you or protect you, or somebody who's very angry about the way that you've been treated recently, okay? And anyway, perhaps some of you have started to feel like a burden to this person, or perhaps they have started to feel like a burden to you. But we all go through that, right? Like, not every day is rainbows, puppies, and sunshine. And a lot of people with drowning don't really want to talk about how they're feeling, or they don't really want to talk about their emotions. And they don't really want to share them. And by holding them in, they become more heavy with their emotions, or they become more like feeling alone with their emotions, okay? And interesting, pile number 2. I mean, I hope you guys haven't been going through that, or this person's been going through this, but when we don't deal with the hurt, or when we don't actually deal with something and we stay angry about it, it's really kind of hard to start the healing process, okay? We have shame, generational trauma. We have inherited issues. So there could be some physical issues and also emotional issues that feel very heavy right now. Pile number 2, some of you may be having heaviness with your family, or heaviness with siblings, or heaviness with, death, or, a lot of people, when someone passes in the family, behavior can get very ugly. Behavior can get very out of control and ugly. All these types of serious things that happened in life. I mean, this isn't an extremely light moment, I feel like, between you and this person. And, the reading's supposed to be kind of a sexy reading called Visions of the Night, but it kind of feels like perhaps one of you wasn't feeling well, or the other one was going through some struggle, and the other person tried to kind of show up to help. But I do get this sense of somebody feeling like not really wanting to reveal their emotions, because they feel like by doing that they're unloading on people, or they're not or they're feeling like a burden. But at the same time, if people don't do that, then people tend to feel people can get sick too because of that, from just holding things in. And perhaps, the last time you saw this person, or the last time you spoke, you weren't in the best of places, or perhaps there was some, comforting or holding or healing or defensiveness, or, a conversation that didn't necessarily. I feel some of you might feel a little embarrassed, or you feel like, I was having a really bad day at work, or I was having a really bad day with a particular situation in my family, and I was just going through it. And this person, I kind of feel like this person's with Aries though here. I kind of feel like, there was somebody that wanted, surprisingly, like somebody was very defensive for you, or defending of you, or and somebody here avoiding a conversation or avoiding a call. And interesting, pile number 2. I mean, that sometimes happens. Like, we're getting to know someone, or we're talking to somebody and we're having a real bad day, but the person comes over, or we see them, or we talk to them. And, sometimes when those things happen and you don't know someone like incredibly well, like you haven't been dating for a long time, or they're not like your best friend, it can create kind of a weird scenario, and I feel like somebody here is in this connection is kind of like, like kind of upset that there was maybe some, with Chiron here, there was probably some vulnerability being shown as well. I also am getting the impression of someone who has a career that has to do with healing, whether that's body healing, emotional, physical, mental, etc. Right? But interesting. And with Black Moon Lilith, I feel like somebody here is very independent. Perhaps you're very independent, pile number 2, and you don't like, burdening or relying on a bunch of different people, and perhaps at times you prefer to kind of be on your own when you're feeling that way. But I also kind of feel like if this person knew anything was hurting you, I kind of feel like they would show up or defend you in some type of a way, okay? Or try to help, in some type of a way. But I also kind of feel like some of you here are very sensitive, Okay, I feel pile number 2, you're a very sensitive person, and I do think things hurt you. You may not like to show it. I feel like you are very fiercely independent. Okay, and I do feel like what you guys need is, as Madonna would say, I need a big, strong man to lift me to my higher ground, make me feel like a queen on the throne, make me love it till you can't come down, that type of thing. I mean, somebody here is hot or good looking or, is tall or has a deep voice or masculine, or somebody is very direct with their words at times is also what I'm getting to, which may be a little bit hard, but there may be things said at certain times, but I also feel like somebody could be kind of a hothead or have a little bit of a temper. But I also feel like this person is defensive towards the people that in a sense, they want to defend the people they care about. We have here surrendering and Saturn. Okay. And this person could have left on a weird note, and some of you may be feeling like I'm not very important to this person, or I feel like I've tried to, like when I've needed them, I've tried to call them, or maybe you did try, okay? But I kind of also getting something here, pile number 2. I'm getting here that this person may feel that you've been emotionally manipulative with them in some type of way, okay? And, the best of us get that way at times. We're not all, sunshine puppies and rainbows and everything that's nice. Like sometimes we are emotionally manipulative, and sometimes we are, I'm just cleaning this candle here, but sometimes we are that way as human beings. And I think it's important, to kind of own our shadow. But I also feel like you guys feel that perhaps this person left in the middle of a fight, or left without really explaining themselves, or when this person left, you felt very empty, or when this person, there's some bitterness, basically, there's some salt in the wound, there's some bitterness going on here, and there is some discomfort, I feel like, too. I feel like some of you here perhaps have been having stomach aches, or when this person left, you had a very bad stomach ache, or things got left on a very bad note. And there wasn't really good communication, and there wasn't really, it's like when you needed them, they came, or when they showed up. But at the same time, I feel like some of you feel like maybe like, well, I didn't show the best part. I didn't show the best side of myself, I wanted to show like the sexy, independent, I don't need no one, need anybody type of a sign, or I wanted to show that to this person, or I wanted to show this very like sexy, vixen-y type of a side here, with Black Moon, Lilith, and Aries. But at the same time, I feel like whatever was going on for you that day, pile number 2, was very heavy emotionally, okay? And I feel like this person's like, oh, I did what I came to do, and now I'm going, and it's like, yep, there you are, going again, or whatever. But I just feel like I feel some saltiness, I have to say here, pile number 2. I feel a little bit of a salt in the wound, okay? And yeah, for better for worse is interesting as a concept, because that's when people get married. Saturn, of course, here talking about commitment, for better for worse, in sickness and in health, like on my worst day, on my ugliest day, when I'm ugly crying and I've got snot running down my face, right? Who is there, or who shows up, or who is there to assist, right? And knowing that we can count on people's commitments, and But at the same time, pile number 2, I feel like there could be a lot of coming and going, and perhaps you want this person to stay longer with you and they leave, or perhaps you left, or whatever happened, but it created some sensitivity. And I think you guys are very sensitive to abandonment. I mean, everyone is sensitive to abandonment, but I also feel like you guys are very independent, and you don't always show what you're going through. Sometimes you hold it within, I feel, pile number 2, and then it kind of comes out in maybe more of a dramatic way. But I also just feel like you guys are working on this, pile number 2. You're working on, and some of you may feel a lot of shame around like showing your emotions or crying, or perhaps this person has felt that as well too, okay? But I kind of feel both you and this person hitting on very sensitive points, and I'm also getting somebody, a masculine here, whose mother was very like needy or very sick all the time, or somebody who was guilted into sticking around, you know? And some mothers are like that with their sons. And perhaps this person had a mother like that who was emotionally manipulative, or that type of thing, you know? And sometimes when we push our own needs down and we don't really talk about it, the way that we try to get our needs met can be very emotionally manipulative or very draining towards other people, you know? And so it's an interesting thing, isn't it, pile number 2? As Bjork would say, if you ever get close to a human and human behavior, be ready to be confused, okay? Because that's human behavior, you know? But it's heaviness with Saturn. You know, it's heaviness, but it's also emotional release with Chiron, okay? And of course, that's not gonna, hopefully, like, sometimes it feels like when we're with a particular person, it's just very emotionally heavy for whatever reason. And then other people, when you're around, it doesn't really feel that way. But then when you're around, and I think you may be a little bit like that too, pile number 2, you may be sensitive, not wanting to maybe admit that to yourself at times, but you are very sensitive. Okay, so some people, we just become more serious or more whatever, hurt, or I don't know. Sometimes people, I feel like, are in each other's lives to kind of show each other their core wounding. And sometimes that doesn't go very well, you know? But let's go ahead and see, what are this person, what are their thoughts and feelings here to my pile number 2s? I mean, I'm not getting that they're a bad person, or that they think really horrible thoughts of you, or that they, you know, I'm not getting any of that actually. I'm seeing a little bit of a bitterness between you and this person developing, or had it developed, okay, pile number 2. But let's see their thoughts and feelings. And perhaps you've been annoyed or somewhat bitter. Yeah, we have the 7 of Pentacles. The 7 of Pentacles can definitely leave a bad, bitter taste in our mouth, you know, talking about tilling the land with no end in sight. And sometimes we're eating a beautiful salad, but we bite into that really bitter lettuce, you know. I don't know if you guys ever knew, but the kale, the leaves, you're only supposed to eat the leaves, right? You're not supposed to eat the stem thing because it's very bitter. Anyway, I found that out. I didn't know that, but it's a very 7 of Pentacles type of a thing. You know, we can become bitter and disillusioned because we keep working on something, or we keep trying, or we keep, I mean, the 7 of Pentacles is definitely a bet for better or worse type of an energy, particularly in relationships. You know, some days there's going to be boring days. Some days there's going to be lackluster days. Some days it's going to feel like depressing. Some days it's going to feel very old. And, you know, that's the way life is sometimes. But we see a very lackluster moment. Here we have the 6 of Wands, okay? Oh, we have the 2 of Wands. You know, pile number 2, I think this might just be a moment. Yeah, I honestly feel like it is a moment. I do feel like you and this, I feel like this person's going to apologize. We have forgiveness and sensitivity. I feel like it was a bad moment or a bad day or whatever. With the Knight of Cups here, I honestly do feel like this person likes you. I feel like they do have adoration towards you. I do feel like you both may have a lot of pride with the Six of Wands and Two of Wands. There may be some ego, you know, a little bit of pride action going on there. Two of Wands is Aries, Six of Wands is Leo, and then we have the Aries Black Moon Lilith there. You know, I feel like there is, I feel like you guys are waiting for this person to kind of, you know, say something to you or make the first move, because I feel pile number 2, like you are a prideful person. It's not bad. I feel like you do have respect for yourself. And I feel like when you're in like a golden moment, or you're in a really good mood, or you're really feeling dignified, I feel like, you know, others do, others should, you know, if it's on them, they should make that first move. I do feel like this person is attracted to you, pile number 2. I kind of feel like you two have some things in common, actually. I kind of feel like, you know, they need to come off their high horse, or they need to, you know, they need to make the time and put aside the time, or they need to, you know, I feel like they like you though, pile number 2. I do. I honestly feel like you two are both very like motivated, intrigued. I feel like this person does notice you. I feel like they do think you're sexy. They do think you stand out. You know, Jupiter, Six of Wands is Jupiter and Leo, and it really is an energy of standing out. I feel like it was a bad moment. We all have our days, you know. We have the not today card here, you know. So I do feel like this person comes back, or you see them again, or they come around again, and their attitude is better. And it's not really, and I feel like the energy is more high charged, you know. And I think what we want to see, particularly in the beginning of a connection, we want to see like excitement building. We want to see fun. We want to see enjoyment. We want to see a little bit of cockiness. We want to see a little bit of, you know, swerve. We want to see a little Mac Daddy. You know what I'm saying? Pile number 2, or Mrs. Mac Daddy. Like, we want to see a little bit of, you know, revving up the engines type of an energy. Okay. And I feel like maybe it was a moment in time that wasn't really going that well. But I feel like, you know, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, and we're feeling good, as Nina Simone would say. And that's the Knight of Cups attitude. You know, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, and I'm feeling good. And I feel like this person does come back, and it's like all of a sudden they know what to say, or they know what to do, or, you know, it seems more contrite is what I'm getting, or it seems more soft, kind, open, sexy, you know. And I do feel like this person has sexy eyes, or they got a sexy look. They may have Scorpio in their chart too with the Knight of Cups, but they got like their little thing going on, you know. They got their lips and their eyes and their whole thing going on. And I think they kind of know, or they're kind of confident that they could possibly like say the right thing or do the right thing, and you would kind of be okay with them again. Okay, pile number 2. Ultimately, I think there's some drama, or there's some things that happen, but particularly at the beginning of a connection, we want to see more sparks and fireworks and fun and upbeat energy, and not like, you know what I mean? And then as we go on, we get into like a for better or worse type of an energy, but hopefully not right away. And maybe some of you are kind of working through that, okay? Like boundaries around like what's appropriate emotionally to show. And sometimes that can be hard if you've been forcing down your emotions and you've been holding on to a lot or carrying a lot. But the Knight of Cups is very much about emotional healing. It's also about softness, forgiveness, and apology. Making amends is what I feel. Okay. So pile number 2, that is what I am getting for you. Actually, I'm going to give you one more card here, okay, as before we close your reading. I think everything's going to be okay, my darlings. I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing for you guys to think about, like, is this emotionally healthy for me, right? Like, are we emotionally healthy for each other? I do see passion here, pile number 2. I do see, you know, and some people have to have little fights, so they come back together and it's hot or whatever, you know, but I see it happening. Let's see what else here, pile number 2. Let's see what else. What would Spirit like pile number 2 to know? What would Spirit like pile number 2 to know? Metamorphosis. Yes, we can see that. Power and strength within our surrender to change. Yep. And, you know, like, instead of fighting back against the changes that are happening in our life, instead of, like, you know, instead of just kind of surrendering. And I feel like you guys have been working on that. Pile number 2, like surrendering to the changes that are happening within you and happening within others. And within that, I think you find a lot of passion, and there's passion, sacrifice, commitment, all these things that you guys are working with right now. And I do feel like you're changing emotionally. Pile number 2. And sometimes when you're changing emotionally, there's going to be bumps and scrapes and bites and bruises, and there's going to be these types of things that come up, you know, but ultimately power and strength lie within our surrender to change. Okay, so pile number 2, that is what I am getting for you, my lovelies. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you again soon. Let's move on to pile number 3. Okay. Let's do it. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the red tea light, and today's reading is called Visions of the Night, Their Thoughts and Feelings. Okay, pile number 3. We are going to go ahead and get into it today, my darlings, and see what is the vibe, what is the energy this person is bringing up into your world, okay? So I'm going to start with your oracle cards first, and then we will get into the tarot, just giving us a little wake up shuffle here with our cards. And very nice, Queen of Wands. Hello, wide awake. All right. Pile number 3, let's go ahead and see their thoughts and feelings. We have the 12th house and surrender. Okay, dreams, trance-like states, the unseen, healing, spiritual development, Akashic records. We have the hand of cards. Taking a chance, being strategic, options, not showing hand, and gambling. Okay, interesting. We have cold. All right, cold. Okay, being very cold. Why so cold? Somebody needs to warm up here. We have Black Moon Lilith with Virgo. We have confidence in the power of healing. Okay, confidence in the power of healing. And we have here choice. Okay, Moon in Gemini, choice. Card number 6. Okay, and interesting. So you two are kind of playing a little thing here with each other is what I see going on. And I do feel like this person, I kind of feel like they're acting like a little secretive. They're acting a little cold. They're acting a little bit indifferent. pile number 3, but I also feel like you've been kind of ignoring them too. Perhaps you were kind of cold towards them the last time you saw them, or you weren't very, I feel like pile number 3, treat them mean to keep them keen. You know what you guys know that saying, pile number 3? I kind of feel like that may be going on a little bit here. And I kind of feel like this person's in the doghouse, or they feel like you're not being straight up with them, or you're not being real with them, or you're being confusing, or they are wondering maybe if there's someone else, or if you're like, you know, I think you got this person confused, honestly, pile number 3, okay? And I feel like this person wants to talk to you, or they want to say something here with this moon in Gemini. I feel like they're going back and forth and back and forth. Like, should I say something? Should I not? Should I, am I just annoying pile number 3? Am I just bothering pile number 3? I mean, I feel like this person, you guys may have been intentionally like being a little bit cold, or being a little bit, I'm just moving my chair closer here, pile number 3. I'm trying to understand you. Wow, my light just completely went off there. Did you guys see that? Oh my gosh. Well, I guess the light is going to be, my light just completely went off. Oh, Lordy. Well, we're going to do your reading in the dark, it looks like. Isn't that hilarious? What happened? Oh, I think it unplugged. As soon as there we go. There we go. Whoops. You know what's going on is, there we go. Wow. Pile number 3. I don't think I've ever had that happen in any reading before. What a weird situation. Maybe some of you have been having, this person feels like they're in the dark. I can see they're in the background here in the dark, and they feel like you have a lot of choices or options, or they feel like you're, you know, too busy as well, perhaps, or that you have a lot going on. Some of you may be very into your own like routines. Some of you may be very witchy, making up different potions, trying different things, making your own teas, making your own elixirs, making your own candles, making your own healing herbs, all kinds of stuff, okay? I feel like you guys stay very busy, or you guys also can be very confusing, I feel like, to this person. And I feel like this person thinks that you don't like them, or that you're playing games, or that you're not really giving them anything to go on, you know? And that's so crazy that the lights went out like that, because, you know, this whole reading is called Visions of the Night, right? So, you know, the night time is upon us, pile number 3. And perhaps some of you some people prefer like darkness, or they don't like a bunch of lights on. I'm also getting somebody here who could be an artist, or is working on like a manuscript, or is working on some art, okay? And I feel like some of you could have gone to a natural path, or you could have gone to a doctor, or somebody who is helping you with something you've been working on, having to do like with your skin, or your appearance, or your energy levels even, okay? But I'm also seeing somebody that has very nice lips, or very like, perhaps you guys got your lips done, pile number 3, but I am seeing somebody that is doing things to make themselves feel their best and look their best. So, you know, I do think that this person has an attraction to you. I just think they don't have any freaking idea what, you know, what you're doing, or what your decisions are, or if there's other people that you're talking to. I kind of get the feeling like this person thinks there must be other people that you're talking to, or there must be other people that you're getting to know. Because I feel like some of you like don't respond right away to this person, or you don't get back to them right away, or you got them all up in their head. I feel like pile number 3. You know, and the 12th house is a very mysterious house. And perhaps some of you have a lot of planets in the 12th house. Perhaps some of you have Mercury, or you have Gemini or Virgo in your chart here. But I kind of just feel like this person doesn't really know. I kind of feel they're confused about how you feel. I also feel some of them are confused about if you enjoyed the sexual energy. For those of you that have, you know, been intimate with this person, I feel like they wonder, like, did they do the right things to you, or did you like what they were putting down sexually? Okay. And there could be, with this cold card here, there could also be kind of a frigid thing going on, or perhaps, you know, I don't know. Pile number 3, does some of you are you entertaining a person, but you also have someone else that you really want to be with, or that really strikes your fancy, or is actually the person you want to be with, but you're also talking to someone else? Do I have my bad girls in pile number 3, or my bad boys in pile number 3? But I also feel like this person thinks like that you're very secretive. We could have Scorpio, Virgo, Gemini in this reading, but I feel like this person can't really get a good read on you. They feel like they're in the dark. They feel like they don't really know if you enjoyed what they were doing, you know, sexually, or to kind of get to know you. I also feel like this person doesn't really know what to think about, like, who you are, or what you're doing, or what you're up to. I feel like this person's very curious about you. Pile number 3. I do feel like they're very curious, but I also feel like they think they're in the dark, and they don't necessarily know what your story is here, okay? And some of you could have been like very guarded, or the last time you saw this person, you weren't exactly like warm and fuzzy towards them, perhaps. And I kind of feel like this person wonders, like, did I do something wrong? You know? And I kind of feel some of you in pile number 3, like you've been hurt before, or you've been played before, or you've been, you know, you've had a bad situation before, so now you're a little bit more detached, or you're a little bit more like challenging to maybe get in bed, or maybe you're more challenging to get to know emotionally, or perhaps, you know, you're a bit more guarded with, like, you know, explaining what you want or where you're coming from. Because the 12th house is like, I feel like this person is saying, I don't really know what pile number 3 wants. Like, does pile number 3 want a relationship? Does pile number 3 just want to like have a booty call? Does pile number 3 like, you know, does pile number 3 hate me? Perhaps this person doesn't really know. And I feel like you guys have, maybe some of you have been intentionally vague, or you've just also, without even knowing it, you've been giving off a vibe of like, I don't care, you know? The 12th house can also be a part of our chart where we're very unaware of the energy that exists there, you know? So perhaps, perhaps this person doesn't really know that you're maybe not aware, or is wondering if you're aware that the energy you're putting out, or lack of energy. And I also feel like Hand of Cards, I feel like this person thinks that you're mysterious, or thinks that there are things that you're not telling them. And perhaps they think that you have another boo, or that your mind is somewhere else, okay? With this moon in Gemini. And with Black Moon Lilith and Virgo, like, I also feel you guys are more concerned right now with like purification, self-improvement, like, you know, physical, changing certain things about yourself physically. Like, you know, I feel like some of you are just a little bit disconnected from what's happening with your relationships emotionally right now. And some of you may be having 12th house transits. And, you know, the 12th house is also where we have karma, the unseen, spiritual development. Perhaps you're into that right now, pile number 3. But even if you are single, and I feel like some of you here are single, technically, like, I just kind of feel that you're giving off maybe chill vibes, or maybe too chill of vibes, or for this person, because I do feel like you have them wondering and floundering about, you know, what is it that's going on here. I'm also seeing somebody who has a scar, like a white scar on their neck. It could be a bigger scar or a littler scar, but a white scar on their neck. I'm also seeing somebody who has an orangish scarf or shawl that they have that is like orange, or has orange or white on it, okay? But I feel like you guys are not really like, you know, I don't know, pile number 3. I feel like you're kind of, I feel like this person thinks you're not really that interested. Like, perhaps you guys had a night here with this 12th house, or you had this night together, but I kind of feel like you guys have been acting disinterested, pile number 3. Is that what you've been up to? What's going on with you? Let's go ahead and see. What are their thoughts and feelings here? They may think that they sucked in bed, or that you didn't like something they said or did, or that you're not really responsive towards them. Perhaps you guys aren't getting back right away when they message you or try to talk to you. Let's see here for pile number 3. What are their thoughts and feelings towards pile number 3? I mean, I kind of feel like you guys are in the power position here. Ooh, the devil's on the bottom of the deck. Okay. So, I mean, I feel like you guys have definitely tangoed with your share of assholes and users and liars and manipulators and, you know, phonies. I feel like you guys have, you know, tangoed with the devil here or there. You know, the devil's very sexy in this Light Seers deck. Like, you know, I mean, I feel like there is somebody that you guys have continued to kind of go back to over and over and over again, or there's somebody that, you know, kind of comes back into your life multiple times, and this person could be exactly your type, or exactly like sexually what you want, or exactly the type of person that, you know, you'd want to be with. And I feel like a lot of you here have been working on your confidence, and you've been working, we have this confidence in the power of healing with Black Moon Lilith and Virgo. I feel like some of you have been working on your confidence. You've also been made a choice here. It says choice, Moon in Gemini, like, I am not going to continue to go back to this person. There is like this person that I've had a really hard time getting my mind off of. They're very tempting. They're very like transfixing. You may think that this person has beautiful eyes, or, you know, they come back with whatever, and yet they're not good for you. And I feel like some of you really wish you could be with that person if it was better for you, but at the same time, you've made a choice to move on or talk to other people. And I kind of feel what I'm picking up on right now is the choice that you made to talk to other people, and some of these other people that perhaps you talk to. Now, I kind of feel with the 12th house too, the 12th house can also be a place of self-sabotage, or a place where we admit that we lost, like, and we just decided, like, well, since I lost, or I can't have that, or whatever, I don't really care anymore, but I know I have to move on. I'm moving on. I don't want to move on. I didn't want to move on. I really didn't want to move on, but I feel like I have to move on. And if I don't move on, I feel like I'm being dumb, because I feel like you guys in pile number 3, you're very smart. Some of you may have very strong mercurial energies in your chart. You may be self-critical at times with this Virgo, Black Moon Lilith with Virgo. I know you guys intellectually understand, like, that this scenario hasn't been good for you. And so you've actively made the decision to, continue on to try something else. Okay. But I also feel like you guys are coming off as being very confusing, perhaps, if you're out there in the dating world, because you're not really, well, your head has made this decision, and I feel like it's the best thing for you. I also feel your heart is still, somehow attracted to something here with this devil. Okay. And we all go through situations like this. We all, go through situations where we make decisions intellectually, but our heart hasn't caught up with that decision yet. And, I'm glad you guys are getting out there. I'm glad you're healing. I'm glad you're getting your confidence back. I'm glad you're, focusing on yourself. I'm glad but it seems like the people you're interacting with are not really, they don't really know what to make of it. Okay. Pile number 3, they sense, I feel, because people can sense things, even if they're like, oh, I don't know anything about intuition, I don't care about any of that. People can sense when people are kind of like protecting themselves or hiding something, or not really, you know what I mean? And anyway, pile number 3, let's see what else. We have death and rebirth. We have the death card here for their thoughts and feelings. We have the 7 of Swords, and we have the 8 of Swords. Okay. Now, I feel like I'm picking up on the thoughts and feelings of this person right now, this devil. Okay. I kind of feel like with people you've been trying to talk to, or maybe trying to relate to, I kind of feel like they feel your heart's not really in it. And, truth be told, your heart may not be completely in it, because I feel like things are just, I'm seeing a turtle right now, and I think it just takes time, and I feel some of you are like, it's going so slow. Like, I've been doing everything, and, I've seen every witch doctor from here to Alabama, like, I've seen I've done 1,000 readings. I've taken a gazillion cleansing baths at this point. I've, put intellectual distance between me and this person. But for whatever reason, there may be a part of you that thinks, like, if things could have been different, would they have worked out? Or some part of you that still feels trapped back into an old mindset of something here. Okay, pile number 3. And I do think that this person is very like mentally and emotionally motivated to continue to try to bring you back into the fold sometimes. And I feel like sometimes you feel like they're still around you energetically, or they're still thinking about you energetically. And I feel like sometimes that makes you feel like, well, I just don't know what to do, and I mean, with death, we see like a very magnetic pull, and how this person has had a very magnetic pull to you and also you to them. But I also feel like this is very mentally exhausting, you know, and I do feel like this person tends to kind of want to drift back into your life, pile number 3, even though it may be very inappropriate for them to do that. And I feel like some of you are thinking, well, what if they do come back? You know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to fall for the same shit. Or what if they do come back around? Then what? You know, and what I'm getting is an energy of limbo. Like something is in limbo. And, you know, we have, well, the astral plane, I feel like, is very active between you and this person. And we see a situation that's very much in limbo, where this person may be continually thinking about what they could say or do to kind of reactivate a situation, or to kind of come back to the same place and see a different result, you know. And we have the Hanged One underneath the Devil, and I talked about that phase of being in limbo. And the Ace of Wands is underneath there, and I feel like for some of you here, you know, this situation is keeping some of you, I feel like, in limbo from finding a new love, okay? We have the Ace of Wands and the Two of Cups and the Fool and the Ace of Swords, okay? The Three of Wands. Like, there's so much here for you in a new beginning. Pile number 3, a chance to clear your head, a chance to start over, a chance to meet somebody where it's healthy and giving and receptive and caring, okay? And I feel like, you know, you're just needing a little more time, okay? I feel like you're just needing a little more time. I feel like this situation, perhaps some of you dating right now or talking to people right now or getting to know people or whatever, is draining you, or it's just making things worse. You know, the 12th house can be a very draining place too, and it can be a very confusing energy, okay? And I feel like some of you think about the prospect of this person coming back, and I also feel like this person thinks about the prospect of coming back. But the whole situation has been so drawn out, so long, so confusing, so overdue for a change, okay, that I feel like it's really probably not good for either of you at this point. And I'm glad that you're making the decision to move on, but I also think probably maybe a little bit more time is needed, you know, pile number 3, a little bit more time of clearing your head, because I understand making choices intellectually. I also think if this person tries to come back into your life, I think it's going to bring you right back into the position that you were before, where you just don't know, and it's very debilitating, confusing, and mentally challenging, to say the least, okay? And it creates a lot of confusion about what your role is with this person, you know? And so I just think pile number 3, you're better off taking some time to yourself and, you know, not worrying about what anybody else is thinking or feeling at this point. I think it's more important what you're thinking and feeling. And I think there's still a lot more for you to, there's still a lot more there for you to, inner things, I feel like, for you to uncover, inner exploration. And, you know, it's like when you see this person, it's like looking into the face of, you know, of somebody like from a past life, or I'm not trying to be all past life, but it's like looking at someone's face from a time that you no longer can go back to, that you've had to give up. The 12th house talks about the losses. It's a house of loss, and the expenses and the losses that we incur when we surrender and let go of something, okay? And it takes a lot of emotional effort to do that. But if we let that energy back in our life, it takes us right back to, you know, it's like ripping the Band-Aid off before a wound is healed, okay? So I just want you guys to really take care of yourselves. And I think your choice to move on, or your choice to move ahead, is a really good decision. You may need some time now, I mean, to just be on your own for a while, okay? And, you know, there's this whole thing maybe of when you're left alone with your thoughts, you start, you know, questioning things, or you start second guessing yourself again. Did I make the right decision? Did I do the right thing? Okay, and it may be helpful in those moments to chat with a friend, or to journal or write. You know, with Gemini here, there is a need with such a mercurial pile number 3, there is a need to get your thoughts out, okay, and to write your thoughts or to share your thoughts, okay? And I think that'll help you get you out of your head and get you out of like living in the past, okay? Or wishing for things to be different than they were. You know, sometimes that acceptance part of it, like intellectually we accept something, but emotionally we're still working on acceptance, and that's okay too. All right, pile number 3, it's okay to still be working on emotional acceptance. Now let's go ahead and see here for my pile number 3s. I'm gonna go ahead and get one last card for you guys today. Okay, and we have here, we have inner life. Exactly, inner life. Your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. That's exactly what I was talking about with your inner life. And sometimes we start talking to people like to distract ourselves or from our pain. You know, a lot of times 12th house has to do with addiction too, where we try to distract ourselves from the deep pain within by doing other things, or you know what I mean? And sometimes by doing that, we just end up delaying the process, you know? And it's not so much, I feel a lot of you guys have been doing more things to your physical appearance, or you've been doing a lot of things, you know? I'm never going to judge anyone for, you know, getting any whatever, or taking care of themselves physically. It's really important. But I also feel like your inner life or your inner emotions are actually more important than your physical appearance right now, pile number 3. Like what you're going through on an internal level is more important than anything. And I feel like this person from your past could have been very superficial, or very into people's looks, or very, like, I do feel there's something you could admit to yourself, perhaps pile number 3, that this other person that perhaps you were idealizing their role in your life, or idealizing what it could be, that they actually really didn't understand your inner life, or they didn't, maybe some of you felt like they just liked you for your looks, or they just liked you for physical reasons or for your looks. And I feel some of you here have a very, you know, wise and spiritual inner life, okay? And it's really important for you to be with somebody who gets that about you. And I feel like some of you haven't met that person yet. Like, I feel some of you have not met a person yet that really sees those deeper qualities in you, okay? And Spirit's asking you to focus on those deeper qualities right now in order to bring you to the type of relationship where you feel really seen and valued. Okay, pile number 3. So that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that that reading resonated for you, and I'd love to hear any comments, thoughts, or feedback. And that was really interesting how the light went off in the middle of your reading. But I hope everyone takes care and have a great rest of your day.